Right, okay, guys. First things first, liquidity gets sucked out of the market on the weekends when retail's not here, guys. Retail's not back yet. And we talked about the importance of pre-market updates, guys, not during the week, before the week. So last week, we talked about a lot of things that needed to happen for the crypto market to turn bullish last week. So on the back of that video, guys, we'd seen some good results because Bitcoin did break the trend. We were waiting for things to happen. We were expecting and preparing for things to happen. And on the back of that, guys, we did get a bullish week within the crypto market and Bitcoin did actually break trend. So we're going to go through all of your altcoin requests, like literally, guys, all of your altcoin requests from the Discord, from the YouTube channel. We're going to go over the macro, try and understand and figure out exactly what's likely to happen going into next week. Okay, so it is important, guys, that I slow things down. I'm going to carry on from where I was last Sunday and then build on that analysis, and we'll see where we were last week compared to where we are this week, see if we've made any improvements, see if we've made any gains, and see if we're getting closer to that alt season. Because remember, guys, what are you here for? You're here for altcoins. Nobody that is watching me, guys, is here for Bitcoin. You're all here for altcoins, but we need to look at Bitcoin as the leading indicator, as the leading metric to tell us when liquidity is coming into crypto, when it is safe to start going from the risk curve, i.e., the least risky asset within crypto, across other risk areas, i.e., altcoins, layer ones, higher risk, higher risk. And the further down your risk curve you go, the harder it is to catch, guys. When you get these low risk altcoins, the small cap altcoins, you've got a high probability of them not actually making it, guys. When they do make it, they run hard, they run fast. You're going to think it's going to go to the moon. You're going to hold on to it, and the thing's going to go down to zero. So anybody, guys, any channel telling you this is a 2-year hold, this is a 3-year hold, this is a 4-year hold, I'm not saying they're wrong because anything's possible. Anything's possible, guys. But from a probabilities perspective, and that's what I am, a probabilities man, 99.999% of those cryptocurrencies are going to get hit so hard, it is going to wreck so many people that the people are left with the bags are the people that are left with the dust, guys. Don't be exit liquidity. And that's what this channel's about, not being exit liquidity, having an exit plan, guys. And that was a long-winded way of saying it, but we need to go through the macro first to understand where we are in the risk curve. And last week, guys, last Sunday, this was 7 days ago, we talked about the importance of this break on Bitcoin. So this is Bitcoin on the daily chart. We'd broken trend that showed momentum for the bulls. That was the first tick, guys. Altcoins are potentially going to run going into the next week. What happened with altcoins last week, guys, in the back of that, you can see on the weekly, we had a green week. We expected a green week because the stars were aligned as far as the macro was concerned. We had some big major trend breaks on the altcoins, and we're going to be talking about that very shortly. But what we expecting to happen on Bitcoin, guys, this is the first thing. We've just broken the 200 daily moving average. Once you're above the 200 daily moving average, you're bullish. Simple as that, guys. Once you're below the 200 moving average, you're bearish. Look what happened to price below the 200. Now look what happens to price above the 200. So what we're expecting to happen, guys, even if we get a pullback going into the next week, even the next 7 days we get a pullback, we manage to hold this 200 daily moving average, that is super bullish from Bitcoin. Expect to hold this, expect a bounce from that, and expect a new high to be put in. So that's exactly what I'm looking for on Bitcoin, guys. Does it mean that that's how it's going to play? It doesn't mean that's how it's going to play. It is giving us a higher probability, a higher indication that we are overbought, and you can see that we're starting to cool off, guys. The candles are starting to cool off, So we are overbought, so you're expecting a pullback. And remember, what is the aim of the game when you're looking for a pullback? We want a pullback. We want a pullback on the RSI. As we come oversold, we want to be holding the key level of support, which is going to be the 200 daily moving average. So if this pulls back during the course of the week, 200 daily, and puts in a higher low, guys, that's signaling trend reversal. We've already taken out the previous lower high. We've put in a new higher high. We just need to put in a higher low, and then we're on our way for the next few probably weeks on Bitcoin. Right, so that's what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. That's what I'm expecting on Bitcoin. We want to hold this 200 daily moving average. 200 daily moving average is now sat at 89,000. You can tell that 89,000 was such a previous big resistance level. So breaking that does carry weight behind it, guys. Next thing is going to be the dominance. And this thing is so difficult, guys. It is so difficult to play because we've been expecting this thing to drop and we've been expecting this thing to drop. And this thing has been late, but I say it time and time again, it's looking like we're topping out. We've got this wick to the upside. I said, when you get a big wick to the upside like that, expect that wick to get filled. That wick's being filled, and now we need a drop to the downside, guys. There's the double top. We want this thing to drop hard. When this thing drops hard, what is that? Alt season 2025. Exactly the same as what happened in 2021, exactly the same as what happened in 2017. You drop the top of the channel, and then you get your alt season. Why is that, guys? People have got confidence in altcoins. You've got liquidity going into the market. It's usually, guys, in a time of stimulus. It's usually in a time of money printing. It's usually in a time of lower interest rates. And that's why we've got a delay this year, guys, because unfortunately, Powell is a little bit late to the game. But that's what we're waiting for. Hopefully, guys, in the May of FOMC, we might actually get a surprise rate cut or an indication of a surprise rate cut. And that would be a good drive as far as liquidity is concerned, because that'll give the world confidence that they can refinance. That'll put stimulus. There'll be packages being put into play. Things will look rosy in the world. People will have more money. You will have more money. I'll have more money. What we're going to do with that spare money, we're going to spend it on risk, guys. So next thing is total 3. This is my alt season indicator. Everyone's calling for alt season. So far, guys, during the last 12 months, I swear we've had about 3 alt seasons. That's as far as what other people are concerned, because different people have got different measures and different metrics of measuring alt season. This is my alt season. I've said it time and time again. Once we get a break, once we get a close of the previous all-time high, so the total 3, excluding Bitcoin, excluding Ethereum, once we break the all-time high, I'm actually scaling out of the whole of my position, guys. Everything other than Bitcoin, which is obviously going to be a bit of a hedge against inflation, and I will be selling some of that. So as far as my 3-year holds, my 4-year holds, and my 5-year holds, as far as altcoins are concerned, guys, I'll be holding a bag of nothing. I love crypto. I'll be coming back to crypto. I'll be revisiting crypto, guys. But it's the flow of liquidity during the market. During a bear market, the flow of liquidity goes elsewhere. It goes into dollars, it goes into bonds, it goes into all sorts of different things, potentially wheat, potentially natural gas. You need to look at where the flow of liquidity is at any given time. And when the world is in hardship, guys, speculative assets, on risk assets, they're the ones that get hit hard. So I'm not expecting a 2-year hold. I'm not expecting a 3-year hold or a 4-year hold. I've got an exit strategy, and I'm expecting to scale out, guys, once we get a break, and once we get a close of 1.14 trillion on the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. The next thing from a macro perspective, we talk about liquidity, we talk about the cycle, we talk about where we are, guys. When the world looks rosy, the dollar is weak. When the world looks bad, the dollar is strong. When the dollar's strong, the DXY is going up during a bull market. When the dollar is weak, the DXY is coming down in a bear market. You can see now, guys, the dollar's weak. We just broke this major support going all the way back to, when's that? February 2023. So that's significant, guys. That carries a lot of weight. That's got about a year and a half of support built around it. And we've just dropped that key support, and we're now rejecting this level. The next drop is all the way down here, guys, 89. If we get a drop to 89, that is going to be a big surge in altcoins. If we get a drop to 89, that is going to be the push that we're expecting on total 3. It's all relative, guys. All of these metrics play together from a macro perspective. So it's important that you go through this analysis first, just to understand exactly what's likely to happen. So we've seen weakness on this, guys. I didn't expect, this is the USDT dominance. So this is the dominance of the US tether combined as far as the whole of the crypto market's cap's concerned. And I expected, guys, to get a rejection at this 618 because of what the Dixie was doing. The Dixie was front running this. You see the Dixie got hit hard. USDT dominance. As the Dixie was getting hit, started rising. We did actually kiss the 78.6% retracement, and then we were hit hard from that. Now we're back to this 38.2. So we've dropped this major trend line, dropped that major trend line. That's showing weakness in the USDT dominance. That's exactly what we're waiting for, guys. So you can see now from just the few things that we've looked at, how we're painting a picture. Next thing's this, guys. Look what's happened. Look what's happened. We've had a breakout of this descending channel of the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. So this is the Bitcoin season. We're waiting for Ethereum season. This was the Bitcoin season before, and now we're waiting for the next Ethereum season. We've just got our first indication, guys. We've got our first indication that it's popped its head up for the first time since this channel, which was going back 5th of January 2025. So pretty much, guys, since the start of the year, altcoins have actually been battered. Apart from the odd relief rallies, altcoins have been battered all year, and we expected January, February to be the alt season, guys. It's thrown us off this year completely. But remember, the markets rhyme, they never repeat, and they didn't repeat this time. So Bitcoin, I'll just go over this quickly, guys. I went through this last week and the week before, but what I did is I marked out every single time that we were in extreme fear as far as Bitcoin's concerned, extreme fear as far as Bitcoin's concerned, extreme fear, extreme fear. And we can look at that and we're back in 53, guys. So look what happens. As soon as you're in extreme fear, you get a bounce every single time, every single time, every single time. When we were in extreme fear, guys, the comments were negative. Everyone was giving me hate. Fortunately, guys, history tells us that that's the best possible time to buy. It's the best possible time to accumulate, guys. So if you're DCAing into positions during extreme fear, history tells you that is going to do you good. So the next thing is Ethereum, guys. This thing's been lagging. This thing is dropped a major support. This needs to break through 1,847, call it 1,850 before it could turn bullish again. We did hit this support level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. We hit this support level sitting at 1,544. We've got a bounce from there. But ultimately, in the short term, guys, Ethereum, we need to take back this 50 period moving average and take back this previous support, which is now acting as a major resistance. Once we get through that, there's a couple of levels that we do need to break, unfortunately, on Ethereum. But I still think that this is the sleeping giant that is going to lead the market. Because what happens, guys, is when you get a 20% increase in Ethereum, a 30% increase in Ethereum, or a 40% increase in Ethereum, guys, that brings so much liquidity into the crypto market in comparison to something like, I don't know, AVAX or something like Dogecoin or something like that, guys, because Ethereum's the second biggest market cap. So it brings a lot of money into the market once people have got confidence in Ethereum. And guess what, guys? BlackRock have been buying Ethereum. People have been short in Ethereum. No one's been talking about that. People have been short in Ethereum while Bitcoin's being longed. And I want to know one question, guys, because I haven't got a clue, but I want to know one question. The people that are short in Ethereum, were they the people that are long in Bitcoin? And if they were the people that were long in Bitcoin and now they're short in Ethereum, now they're buying up Ethereum, guys, that's the smart money for you. They've done all right there. If that is the scenario, that's just me speculating. Right, okay, so this is the volatility of the S&P. This is the VIX, and you can see we had this nasty spike on the VIX. What was that? That created uncertainty, that created panic, that created literally, guys, so much uncertainty within the whole of not just the crypto market, but within the S&P. So that is the volatility of the S&P. S&P got hit hard as the VIX lost uncertainty or got uncertainty. Then the S&P got hit hard. So that is the macro, guys. We've got a rejection level here on the S&P that we need to break and close above. That's sat at 5,516.87. So you can see that we've dropped this 200 daily moving average. For the S&P to turn bullish again, guys, remember, we need to break, close above the 200 period moving average, and then we can continue to the upside. So it has been a nasty capitulation spike for the altcoins, for the stock market, but now we can get onto the altcoins, which is what you've been waiting for. Right, ICP. So we talked about ICP in the last video. What's happened since ICP? We've had a break. So we've had a break. We've got two trend lines here. These diagonal trend lines carry quite a lot of weight actually within crypto, guys. Go outside of crypto, they don't carry as much weight. But within crypto, because the retailer in crypto, retail love a diagonal. So we've got two diagonals. We've got two breakouts. We need to hold back the $4.98 as support, call it $5. So this is going to be the support area. If we break and if we close below this level here, guys, and we break and close below the 20 period moving average, expect further downside. If we hold this level and then we break above the 50 period moving average and hold that as support, then that's a different story. So you can see within a couple of days, guys, what you can do. You can monitor this. Is this going to hold support? If it's not going to hold support, then I'm not interested. If it is going to hold support, is it going to break through the 50? If it breaks through the 50, will it test the 50 as support? If it tests the 50 as support, it gives me even more wiggle room as far as risk to reward is concerned, because I can put my risk below the 50 once it's pulled back, once it's confirmed. That means that I'm diminishing my risk. And then the reward, like I said, will look after itself. Because, guys, it's a probabilities game. How often am I right, guys? Guys, I'm right probably more times than I'm wrong. But, guys, I am wrong. And anybody that tells you they've got a 98% strategy or a 99% strategy, absolute bullcrap, guys, because the people that have got a 99% strategy, that 1% that they lose will wipe that 99% because there's no chance that they've got a 99% successful strategy, guys. The most successful traders, guys, like literally look it up. The most successful traders will win about 1 in every 3 trades, guys. They've got such a high risk to reward or such a low risk comparison to such a high reward that they have got such a low win rate. And when they win, they really win. So it is a misconcept, guys. Don't go looking for strategies that have got a 99% win rate, because you're not going to find them. And I'll tell you something, if you're going to buy a strategy from someone from YouTube, you're wasting your money, guys, because it is you that learns the strategy on your terms, your time frame, how often you can be at the chart, what works for you, what pairs you like, what pairs work for you. So many different scenarios, guys, that nobody can give you a strategy that works on every single pair. So, as far as strategy is concerned, guys, I'll give you a strategy. Is it going to work for you? You're going to have to test it yourself, unfortunately. But what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to do a 7-part series of a rule based strategy, the most simple rule based strategy that I could think of. And it has got an if then syntax built in. So you can trade like a robot. If this happens, then you do this. If this happens, then you do this. If that happens, then you do this. So I'm going to drop a 7-part series, guys, over the next coming weeks. Let me know if you want more content like that, because these are the people that I want here, guys. I want the people that are structured. I want the people that want to learn. I want the people that will be able to look at these charts and understand themselves. What areas are of interest? What areas are resistance? What areas are support? What the hell is this kid talking about? I want you guys, the community here, to understand exactly what it is that you're looking at in a chart, because self-developing yourself and understanding how to read a price chart, guys, it is probably one of the best tools that you're going to learn as far as self-development is concerned. Right, okay, so Algorand, guys, Algorand. We've broken trend, That's strong. We've got this previous resistance level. What was previous resistance we would expect to act as support. So there's a chance that this is going to come down, guys. What are these signals showing us? So far, we've seen Bitcoin is potentially going to pull back. Where does it need to pull back? It needs to pull back to put in a higher low. Exactly the same with these trend breaks, guys. There's the previous resistance. There's the previous resistance. What do we need to happen? We need this to come back. We need this to test as support. If that happened, guys, that could take a few days. So that could be a few days of bearishness. However, it doesn't mean we turn bearish. Remember, holding these higher lows, holding the higher lows. How can we tell we're going to get a higher low, guys? Firstly, remember, I said it on the Bitcoin chart. We're overbought here. We're overbought here. We're getting a rejection. We've got 1, 2, 3 rejection candles. We're expected to slowly pull back. Wait for the stochastic to pull back, and then make sure you've put in a higher low. You've got a higher probability of putting a new move to the upside. What's the aim of the game? Take out the 200 daily moving average, guys. Once you're above that, you're bullish. Below that, you're bearish. Remember, simple. Right, Rune next. Rune's done quite a lot, actually, since the last one. It's broken its 20. It's broken its 50. It's well on its way, guys. Previous resistance that we had to break through was this level here. Let's build this in. This is more of a zone, guys. Why is it a zone? Because of this wick here. Let's talk about wicks, guys. What do these wicks represent? These wicks here represent one thing. They represent the extreme high to the upside of the day, or the extreme low to the day. What does the close of the body represent? That represents where the session ended. So there's a fight between the bulls, there's a fight between the bears, between each one of these candles within each time frame. This is the daily time frame. So there's a tug of war battle happening between the bulls and the bears during the day, and at the end of the day, guess where it closed? It closed here. So it closed below the 50 period moving average. We got rejected at this previous resistance point, and when we ended up below the 50 period moving average. So that signaled one thing: we were going to get a rejection. However, this acts as a zone, guys. We use the body to the tip of the wick, the extreme high to the close. And this is going to be our support zone. So what's this going to do? It's going to allow one thing, guys. It's going to allow risk management, because where are we wrong? Below this support zone. Use your trend line. You've got your diagonal trend line here. This is your momentum line. Once you break this momentum line, then that turns bearish, guys, because you'll be putting in lower highs and lower lows. So use that as your momentum line. Use that as your safety net. But ultimately, the level that needs to hold here is $1.29. So you can see again, guys, we're waiting for pullbacks. We're waiting for pullbacks. Potentially Monday and Tuesday could be a little bit of a pullback day. Right, Beam. So we've got support on Beam here, 0.005401. We've got resistance on Beam, 0.011799. We're right in the middle of the midway point. What I'd want on Beam, guys, is I'd want to pull back to this 50 period moving average, which is just about to meet up with the 20 period moving average. And I'd want that to hold as support. Once that's held as support, which I expect it to hold as support, because you've got double confluence, you've got the 50, you've got the 20, and then you've also, clues look left, you've got this here. Resistance, 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 your breakthrough, you expect that to flip support. So what does that allow for, guys? If you're patient, it allows for good risk management. Where you're shooting for previous high, 6.15 to 1, guys. That allows for tight risk management. What happens if you take it where it is now? 2.52. Expect it to pull back, expect it to hold as support. Theta next. Same again, guys. We had a breakout. That's positive. We've broken the 20 period. We need to break the 50 period in the short term. So potentially, there's your resistance sat at 69 cents. That 69 cents matches the 20 period moving average. Potentially what happens, guys, when you've got things like this, where you've got theta token, potentially you get a little bit of resistance and support, which wedges up and coils up and coils up before you get a big break, confirmation, retest, and move. That's what we're waiting for on theta. Right, Gala, exactly the same, guys. You've got your momentum line here. We've taken the 50 period moving average. The 20 period moving average is just about to cross over. That's your support line. Use this as your momentum line. Potentially, we could come back, hold this as support, sat at 0.01593. Then, guys, sorry about the messy charts, but it's all about bringing your risk down and increasing your reward. It is all about waiting for the right time, guys, because the right time can give you such a better risk to reward. And if you think about 20 trades, guys, if you think about 20 trades, and just an example, let me tidy this up. If you think about 20 trades, and you're going to take 20 trades, guys, we're in the midway point here. So you're bringing your risk to reward up. All you need to do is just have patience, guys. And if you think 20 trades and you've got 20 setups that are waiting to happen, you might get 6, you might get 7, guys. But those 6 or 7 are going to give you the best risk to reward. You're going to get less trades, you're going to get more reward. And ultimately, guys, your P&L will look better. I promise you that. So wait patiently, guys, until you get some kind of a support. You understand where the support is. You understand if you're wrong, where you protect yourself. You protect yourself with a limited amount of capital at risk. That means that you live to fight another day. If you live to fight another day, guys, and this thing comes all the way back down here to this support and you get stopped out here, what does that allow for? Just an example. That is a drop of 13%. So that means that you can re-enter. You've lost 1%, 2%. You can re-enter 13% lower at this next support zone. So just because you lose one trade or one trade setup doesn't actually work, guys, or you get stopped out on one trade, you can look, you can reanalyze, and you can use that to your advantage, guys. Because if something drops, it drops for a reason. If something drops, that means that you're wrong if you're looking for a move to the upside. If you're wrong, you want to be wrong with the least amount of capital as possible. Next one's XRP. So it's quite a difficult one, XRP, guys. We've got a bit of a trend line. It looks like we might have had a bit of a trend break here. Oh, not quite. If you use that, you got a bit of a trend break. We can't really use that because we had this high, this lower high here. So, I mean, what we can do is we can look at the area of the most traded volume on this using a fixed range volume indicator. So, wrong one. Using a fixed range volume indicator. So we'll do that. And you can see that this is going to be the resistance point. And you can see when we actually look through this chart, how often that this bounces resistance, resistance, support, 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 resistance, resistance. This is going to be the line to break and close above, guys. And this is going to be the $2.39, $2.40 level. Once we break that, we can look at break and trend, potentially holding this as confirmation. And then I'd be interested then. I'm not interested in XRP right now, guys. That is below the area of most traded volume. I want it to be above there. I want it to be clearly above the 50 period. I want it to be clearly above the 20 period. And then I'll be more happy. Support buys, guys. Support buys, support buys. Right, okay, Cardano next. So Cardano, it has actually broken through this trend. We were waiting for this trend. It's broken through this trend. But one thing with Cardano, guys, is it's wedged between its moving averages. Remember, to turn bullish, we need to be above the 200. And guess what? We're wedged between the 50. There's the 200 up here. There's the 50 here. We're wedged between the 50 and the 200. So this is going to give us a big clue, and it's going to give us a big clue really soon, guys, because if we break the 200, expect that to flip support. And if that flips support, guys, what does that do to your risk to reward? Brings your risk all the way down here, brings your reward all the way back up there. And that is just to this previous swing high. So what's that? 6.85. See how powerful it is, guys. If you didn't wait for the retest, and the break was volatile, what would that do to your risk to reward? Can you see how powerful it is by just waiting for it to pull back and waiting for it to pull back and waiting for it to pull back? Bring your risk down as far as possible, making sure that you're holding a support base, guys, that's held for a long period of time. Understand where you are in the market. So next one's Solana, guys. I'm not interested in Solana right now. When would I be interested in Solana? Once it comes back down, retest this level and holds these two moving averages as support. The 50 and the 20 are sitting at $130, $131. So you've got a bit of a range here with Cardano and with Solana. Sorry, the range is 35% to the upside. You've got your 200 moving average sat up here at $180.59, which is going to be the key indicator in the short term for us to turn bullish on Solana. Right, H bar next, guys. Look what's happening. We are getting rejected. We're getting rejected now from the 200 moving average. This is a build up, a price action here, guys. So it's not just the 200. You've got to build up a price action here. Once we get a break, once we get a close above 19 cents, then expect a big move all the way up to the 38.2, which is 26 cents. That is the next resistance point. So I'm waiting on that one, guys, because this potentially could pull back even more and you could get a little bit of bulking between the moving averages whilst it decides what it's doing before it can break to the upside and then carry on its move. This one next, Swift coin. I don't even know what this one is, guys. Let me know in the comments what this one is. But as far as chart patterns are concerned, it's probably going to be a higher risk. It's probably going to be degen. So, like, I'm not telling you to buy any of these cryptocurrencies. These are just chart requests. But from a technical perspective, I've never seen this one before. This looks like it's a strong support. This was previous resistance. If we just zoom back here by the looks of it, yeah. So resistance. You've pulled through, you've got support, support, support. What happens when you break support? It comes through as resistance. Once, broke through, support, support, support. So, I mean, you've got one good thing here, guys. This pattern looks quite nice. This pattern looks quite nice here. If you get a break above 16 cents and you get a close above 16 cents, you've got this wick to contend with here, guys, but the bodies tell a story. That's 0.019860. If you get a close above 0.16169, that's going to show strength. One thing that you've got here, guys, is you've got your three moving averages. Got your 20, and we've got the traffic light system just coming into play, guys. Remember, your 200 at the bottom, your 50 in the middle, your 20 at the top. When that happens, that's the bullish signal. That's just happening now, guys. You've got your 200 at the bottom, you've got your 50 that's just crossed underneath the 20. These are going to be strong support, guys. That's triple confluence. That's quadruple confluence, guys. What is quadruple confluence? Means you've got four areas of support. You've got the 200, you've got the 50, you've got the 20, you've got this big previous resistance, which is flipped support. So that one looks good to me from a trading perspective, guys. Where are you going to be shooting for? That'd do me. 3.45 risk to reward back to this previous rejection point where we've got the 2 wicks pushing price action down. Next one, Aura coin. Right, okay, so you've got a couple of key levels here. These are difficult because we've got no chart data to go by, guys. This was support, that fell through as resistance, you just broke through. You'd expect that to come back as support. If this comes back as support, that's probably going to line up with the 20 and the 50 period moving average by the time that it gets there. Once it gets there, what you're doing is you're diminishing your risk, and then your reward for the previous swing high, 9.92. So it is a waiting game, guys. It's a waiting game. Everything at the moment that we've looked at, guys, we've expected something to pull back over the next couple of days. Doesn't mean it's going to, but there's a higher probability of that happening because it's showing that there's exhaustion. The stochastic RSI and the indicators are telling us things are overbought. They need to cool off. Guys. And that is going to give us a couple of possible days of bearishness. What is this thing? GPU. Right, okay, GPU. So this is on the daily chart. This thing looks like an absolute degen play. This is on the Polony exchange. And one thing that you can see here is you've got a baseline here. This baseline here is going to be your support and your resistance. Support, 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 all the way down. That's going to act as resistance. I'm not interested in that, guys. You've got your 50 period and you've got your 20 period. They could act as support. However, you're below this big resistance level. So something that I'm not interested in. Right, okay, look, like I say, guys, I've got the trading, it's a little mini trading course in its own right, guys, because it's a step-by-step strategy, and it's if, then, if, then, if, then. If this happens, then this needs to occur. If that needs to occur, then this needs to occur. You're basically just checking it off, guys, and checking it off. And that's how you trade like a robot. And that's what I want to try and introduce into this channel so you can understand exactly that you don't need to look at something. You don't need to look at a YouTuber and say, I'm going to buy what he's buying. You can actually look at something and understand your own rules, your own criteria. And more importantly, guys, if you've got a strategy that's got a rule-based system built into it, you can go and back test it, guys. So you can go and find out how profitable it was before you even start live trading, guys. It's a strategy. It'll work on some pairs. I've tested it on Bitcoin. It works well for me on Bitcoin. It might not work well on Solana. I haven't tested it on Solana. It might work better on Ethereum. Might work better on gold. Guys, go and test it on your pair, on your time frame, based on whatever it is that works for you. So I'm going to be dropping that over the next week. Let me know in the comments what you want me to cover next, and I'll see you guys in the next one.